Kindergarten, I have another double feature for you. As I read these stories out loud to you, all I can do is think about all the books that I want to be reading you in class. So I can't ever seem to pick just one. So I'm going to be reading Over in the Garden, and I'm going to be reading Squiggly Wiggly's Surprise. Over in the Garden is a fun little book that goes to a nice little tune, so I'm going to read it to you. I hope you enjoy it. Over in the garden in the early morning sun lived a mother praying mantis and her little mantis one. Pounce, said the mother, I pounce, said the one. So they pounced and they hunted in the early morning sun. Over in the garden where the sunflowers grew lived a mother ladybug and her little beetles too. Crawl, said the mother, we crawl, said the two. So they crawled over petals where the sunflowers grew. Kindergarten, did you notice it was a counting book? Yep, our next number's 3. Over in the garden near the shady old tree lived a mother dragonfly and her little dragons 3. Zip, said the mother, we zip, said the 3. So they zipped and they zoomed near the old shady tree. Can you count them? 1, 2, 3. Over in the garden on the damp earth floor lived a quiet mother snail and her baby snails 4. Slither, said the mother, we slither, said the 4. So they slithered and they slid on the damp earthy floor. 4 babies. What number's next? You're right, 5. Over in the garden where the apple blossoms thrive lived a colony of bees and their little bees 5. Buzz, said the workers, we buzz, said the 5. So they buzzed and they flew where the apple blossoms thrive. Can't wait till you can see this one. Over in the garden where the vines and berries mix lived a little mother spider and her baby spider 6. Jump, said the mother, we jump, said the 6. So they jumped through the garden where the vines and berries mix. Look at that mama spider and her eyes. See if you can figure out the next number listening for the rhyme. Over in the garden where the flowers grow toward heaven, a little mother butterfly and her caterpillars 7. Nibble, said the mother, we nibble, said the 7. So they nibbled and they climbed where the flowers grow towards heaven. It's just like our caterpillars. They nibbled all of their food. Over in the garden by the old wooden gate lived a mother roly-poly and her little babies 8. Roll, said the mother, we roll, said the 8. So they rolled and they curled by the old wooden gate. I love roly-polies. If you lift up old wood or rocks, a lot of times you can find them there. Over in the garden on a long curly vine crawled a group of soldier ants and their little workers 9. March, said the soldiers, we march, said the 9. So they marched and they crawled up the long curly vine. Over in the garden where the moon shines again lived a mother firefly and her little beetles 10. Glow, said the mother, we glow, said the 10. So they glowed and they flashed where the moon shines again. I hope you enjoyed that book. It's one of my favorites. You can see how well loved it is by the pages. They're almost falling out. The second book in my double feature today was actually a book from when I was a little girl. So I read this book when I was your age. And it's called Squiggly Wiggly Surprise. And it's a finger puppet book. So there's a little hole here that I am going to use my finger to help read the book. Squiggly Wiggly's Surprise. One day, Squiggly started out to explore his garden world. His first stop were the petals of a red rose. What a pretty color, he said, and what a nice smell. I wish I were a red rose. Next, Squiggly saw a bright yellow daisy, and in the middle was a bumblebee. Hello, Mr. Bee, Squiggly said. How busy you are. I wish I could fly quickly from flower to flower like you. Maybe someday you will, answered the bee, and he buzzed about the yellow daisy. Squiggly heard someone singing and looked up and saw a blue bird sitting on a branch above him. Hello, Mr. Bluebird, said Squiggly Wiggly. How pretty you look. I wish I were pretty and blue and could fly like you. Maybe someday you can, said the bluebird. Squiggly Wiggly only sighed and crawled on. Then Squiggly Wiggly saw a big orange. It was a bright orange, and Squiggly Wiggly could only think about how dull and drab he was. He wished he were bright orange like the orange. Poor Squiggly Wiggly felt sorry for himself. No. As he crawled along, Squiggly saw some purple pansies. How pretty and dainty they are, he thought. I wish I could be purple and look dainty like that instead of drab and clumsy like me. By the time Squiggly Wiggly was hungry, he found some delicious green leaves and decided to have lunch. My, those green leaves are good, Squiggly said. Suddenly, Squiggly felt cold. He looked up and saw thousands of white snowflakes falling from the sky. How beautiful and clean white they are, said Squiggly. But how cold they are, too. Squiggly began to shiver. Squiggly Wiggly decided to build a place to keep warm. He started spinning a brown sack around himself. When Squiggly Wiggly finished, it was all warm and black inside his sack. He was very tired, so he fell asleep. After many weeks, Squiggly Wiggly woke up. He thought it was too crowded inside his sack, and he decided to leave the black inside and see what was outside. So he started to crawl out of his sack. Kindergarten, what do you think is going to happen now that he's out of his chrysalis? I think you're right. Squiggly looked at himself. What a surprise! He was no longer a drab, fuzzy fellow who crawled around. Instead, he was a beautiful butterfly with all different colors on his wings. Can you see all the colors? Do you see red and yellow and blue, orange and purple and green? Can you see white and brown and black? Now help Squiggly fly away. What a fun book to read. Squiggly Wiggly's Surprise. I've enjoyed it since I was 5 years old, just like you guys are. Bye, kindergarten. I hope you enjoyed the double feature. I miss you guys, and I really loved reading to you. Bye.